President Trump just rolled out the biggest tariff expansion in modern history. Europe hit, China hit hard, Mexico, Canada, Japan, no exceptions really. He called it Liberation Day, an economic declaration of independence. But if you look closely at the map, something's missing. Trump went after our allies, competitors, trading partners, but three of America's most dangerous adversaries, Russia, Iran, North Korea, not a word, not a tariff, not a mention. So what's going on? Is Trump going soft on dictators, or is this the smartest move no one's talking about? Well, I don't think it's either of those. But if you're tired of the sugar-coated headlines, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe for more hard-hitting geopolitics. Let's start with Russia. To understand why Trump didn't hit Russia with tariffs, you have to understand one thing. There's nothing left to tariff. The United States and Russia barely trade anymore. Sanctions put in place during the Obama, Trump, and Biden administrations have already choked off the big economic arteries. Russian energy banned, Russian banks cut from SWIFT, Russian arms, tech, steel already blacklisted. So if you're Trump and your goal is to bring jobs back home and punish bad trade behavior, what's the point of putting tariffs on a country that you don't even trade with? But here's where it gets more interesting. Trump isn't ignoring Russia. He's going around it. By hitting Germany, France, and the broader European Union with new tariffs, he's attacking the Western financial backstop that's still keeping Russia afloat. Germany imported Russian gas for decades and built its industrial empire on cheap Russian energy. France still wants to play middleman on the global stage, so rather than fight Russia head-on, Trump is cutting off the countries that empower it. That's how leverage works. And remember, Trump already punished Russia by killing Nord Stream 2 back in 2019. This is just part 2. Next, let's talk about Iran. If you thought U.S.-Russia trade was minimal, U.S.-Iran trade is non-existent. Trump doesn't need tariffs on Iran because he already used maximum pressure during his first term. The U.S. sanctioned Iran's oil exports, crushed its currency, and isolated its banking system from global transactions. Iran is already boxed in economically, and unlike China or Germany, Iran doesn't power the U.S. economy in any way. There are no Iranian cars on American roads, no Iranian tech in your pocket, no consumer imports that could be targeted. So again, Trump doesn't waste tools where they won't bite. He's targeting countries that actually participate in America's economy. Those are the ones you can pressure for real results. Iran is dangerous, yes, but economically irrelevant. And while Biden tried to revive the Iran deal, Trump's playbook has always been to isolate, weaken, and destabilize, not negotiate. And then there's North Korea. Kim Jong-un gets headlines, missile tests, summits, but when it comes to economics, there's nothing to hit. The U.S. doesn't import anything from North Korea. No trade, no deals, no loopholes. It's a country living under permanent economic quarantine. Tariffs only work when you have something to restrict, when there's a pipeline to cut off. With North Korea, so any tariff would be pure symbolism, just a headline without impact. It would literally be wasting the paper that it was put on. And Trump doesn't do symbolism in trade policy. He does leverage, real, tangible economic leverage. And remember, he already tried diplomacy. 3 face-to-face meetings and still no deal. So what's left? Nothing, which is exactly why North Korea got ignored. I think it's funny that people are even questioning this. No, here's the truth no one wants to say out loud. Trump's tariffs aren't aimed at America's enemies. They're aimed at America's partners. And that tells us everything. In Trump's view, enemies are predictable, you contain them. You sanction them, you deter them. But it's your allies, the ones who benefit from your market, your protection, your currency, who can take you for granted, those are the ones you got to keep an eye out for. France talks like it's pro-Western, but buys into China's diplomacy. Germany relies on U.S. troops for protection, then builds pipelines to Moscow. That was the craziest thing. Japan builds cars in Mexico to dodge U.S. labor. Trump isn't punishing betrayal, he's testing value. Who's really with America? Who's really with America? Or who's just cashing in? This is the core of the Trump doctrine. Friendship doesn't mean you get a free ride. If you want access to the U.S. market, you better bring something to the table. If you don't, you get tariffs. Seems pretty simple. Trump isn't trying to rebuild old alliances. He's trying to build new leverage. And this time, it's really not about military bases or promises. It's about who can stand on their own. Trump didn't forget to tariff Russia, Iran, or North Korea, which is just dumb to even consider. He didn't skip them out of fear or confusion. He left them out on purpose because literally, they're not worth the paper he would have printed it on. Instead, he's aiming at the countries that actually have something to lose. And in his world, that's how you build the new global order. Not through diplomacy, not through consensus, not through consensus, but through strategic pressure. What do you think? Should Trump have hit America's enemies harder, or is he right to focus on the partners who have quietly taken advantage? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is Frank with America's Geopolitics. See you next time.